Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
I'll need a motion on the draft minutes of the August 12, 2025 Finance meeting.
Move to approve minutes.
Motion to approve by Alder Lettice. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes for August 12, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to public appearances for non-agenda items. We have nobody in chambers, and I don't believe anybody online no one online for public appearances for non-agenda items, so we can move on to item 4, Finance Director Report. Misty?
Thank you. So first of all, the July Treasurer's Report is included in the packet. Not too much happened in July. We did have one CD that matured that we reinvested, but tax settlement stuff was in August. So pretty normal month. And I'll pause if there's questions.
I have one quick question. When we have unrealized gains and losses on here, we pretty much hold everything to maturity, don't we? So
Correct.
So it's just for bookkeeping purposes.
Exactly. So accounting rules require us to do mark to market,
Right.
which we only do at the end of the year.
Okay.
Looks like the general fund cash and investments saw quite a bump between June and July. What kind of shuffling of funds has been going on there?
I'd have to look to see what in particular happened. There is
Looks like $9 million.
So included in there is the revenue and expense statement for July. And so we can see what happened in that period. So we did get some state aid. So we got our quarterly GTA aid. We got our annual exempt computer aid. Fire insurance dues came in. Big chunk of the shared revenue came in. So it was 1.8 million worth of state aid that came in July. I'm on page, I don't know where to see page numbers on my new version. 19, there it is. I'm on page 19 of the packet. So there's the taxes section and then the intergovernmental revenues. So that would be money that came in this month. And then some licenses. Yeah, so that would be the big piece there.
Okay.
Does that satisfy your question, or would you like me to?
I think so. I guess
Okay.
I'll look at it again, and if I have any more questions, I can send you an email.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And now you'd said state, so as I read this, it looked like we had so far received about 238,000 of the 1.58 million expected shared revenue. What sort of schedule is that on?
So I'll have to verify, but I think this is the one that's 15% at one point and 85% at another point.
Okay.
But I'll have to verify that. I can report back at the next meeting.
All right.
Any other questions before I move on? Nope. Okay. Other than that, big news, of course, is budget. So we have the first version of just the requests put together, and we had meetings with the mayor today and then tomorrow to kind of go through those requests. And then the mayor's proposed budget will come out in either 3 or 4 weeks. So a lot of prioritization that needs to happen, which is not a surprise. And I think I've shared like what our net new construction is at the 2.59%. Health insurance came in at 9%. Dental insurance came in at 6%. So there's some things that are competing, but the new vehicle registration fee obviously will help us kind of keep that cost to continue budget moving forward. So all the details will come out in a few weeks. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. And next up is the review of bills. 5A, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above for August 1 to 15, 2025, totaling $3,634,697.37. Comments or questions? Moving on to 5B, detailed review of all checks issued, checks 129004 to 129088 from July 16 to 31, 2025, totaling $1,481,014.88. Comments or questions? Bill?
There's one meal reimbursement in there for over $1,000. Is that like catching up for the last 7 months, or did he foot the bill for a big party?
Do you know what page you're on or who the vendor is?
Check number 100214081.
100? That wouldn't be a check number.
Well, let me see what it says here. Oh, that's what it's, so on page 1 of 11, or page 48 of the packet, Juan Hinonos, July 25th.
Got it. So that's the vendor number. Just the check number is the 129010 on the far right side. So this is our new K9 handler. He went out to do training with the K9, and so it would be a multi-week event that it was for.
All right.
Seeing nothing else, we can move on to 5C. Detailed review of all checks issued, checks 129089 to 129161 from August 1 to 15, 2025, totaling $3,781,486.33. Comments or questions? Moving on to 5D, detailed review of all ACH payments from July 1 to 31, 2025, totaling $695,391.79. Comments or questions? Moving on to 5E, detailed review of P-card transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending July 7, 2025, totaling $114,088.16. Comments, questions? Moving on to 5F, review of P-card transactions for the cycle ending July 7, 2025, totaling $219,257.69. Comments or questions? We can move on to our action items. First is 6A. I'll need a motion on resolution R1-2025, a resolution approving the police services facility construction bid.
I move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer. Who is going to introduce this? Tim?
Yeah, I can introduce it. The Fitchburg Capital Improvement Plan includes funding for the design and construction of the police services facility. Plans and specifications for the project were prepared by FGM Architects and approved by Fitchburg Common Council by Resolution R99-24. Bids and plans were placed on questcdn.com, and legal notice was placed in the Wisconsin State Journal on July 1st and July 8th, 2025. On July 29th, 2025, 6 electronic bids were received and opened with the results listed in the attached bid tab. J.P. Cullen was found to have submitted the lowest responsive bid in compliance with the specifications in the amount of $23,053,855. J.P. Cullen submitted alternative bid amounts for items 1, 3, and 5 in the total amount of $107,685. The CIP has sufficient funding for the project. We're looking for council to approve the award of the construction bid plus alternatives 1, 3, and 5 for the project to J.P. Cullen in the amount of $25,005,848, and that includes an 8% contingency. And then we're also looking for council to authorize city staff to make a determination on alternative number 6 and adjust the contract amount to reflect the determination, and authorize staff to make a determination on alternative number 4 during construction.
Thanks, Tim. Comments or questions? I think we were all pretty surprised that the bids came in under what was the estimates were. And all of them were coming in well under the estimate. That's a delightful surprise. Any insight there, Tim, or is that just, are we trending in a better direction on bids for these types of projects?
I don't know if someone from Pepper Construction's in the room at all, or I can kind of, on Board of Public Works, they kind of just explained with the market has changed kind of significantly from when the design was started a couple years ago, and we've gone through this process that, you know, contractors are a bit more hungry and pricing hasn't skyrocketed as much as they anticipated. So that's kind of the reason that the competition, you can kind of see between the 6 vendors, they were pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
And all 6 were under budget too.
Well, no complaints from me here. Other questions from the committee? Micah?
Could you just give a quick overview of the alternatives 4 and 6 that staff would be making a decision on?
Yeah, and I don't, is someone from Pepper's there? They would be better to explain that.
We don't have anybody from Pepper here right now.
Okay. I'll have to then pull up some documents for that.
Otherwise, I understand that Pepper is planning to be at the council meeting.
Okay.
So for perhaps if you're open to it, do we wait on that question
Yeah, that's
until
fine.
council?
That's fine.
Sorry about that.
Just for anybody watching online, number 6, there's 3 different access control line items in there. So maybe Pepper will be able to tell us the relative differences between those 3 options, but it would be, you know, it's listed as 6A, B, and C, and we'd wind up choosing one of them. And then Tim had mentioned during construction, we can talk about alternate number 4, which is landscaping plugs. So for whatever that's worth.
Oh, I think I heard that's like based on whatever time of year it is when they need to do the, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Any insight from Public Works, Bill?
Nothing more really than what Tim said. He was there too.
We did have some.
Pepper's not on. This is Beth Cerny with FGM Architects.
Hi.
So I can speak to alternate 6. It was, the idea was to get pricing from certain companies for the access control to give the city options on if they wanted to go with a special company and their software versus another's. So we wanted to see what that price breakdown would be comparatively, rather than just getting a total value.
Thanks, Beth. And any, in your experience, I guess you guys do other types of projects like these major buildings with just different municipalities. Are you seeing this trend across different bids that you're seeing where things are coming in under budget? Is that kind of where the market is right now?
Yes and no. I think things are coming under budget as far as contractors are hungry, as Tim mentioned, and they're looking for they want the projects. This is a nice project to have. It's a good size. But, you know, we were surprised it did come under because, you know, with the volatility in the market, it could have easily been over. We did do a lot of work during the design to reduce costs in general. So we were happy that it definitely came in under. I mean, our estimates we were kind of tracking right on. So.
Well, great work. Anything else? Seeing nothing, we can vote. All in favor of resolution R1/2025, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Beth. And Tim, next is going to be, I'll need a motion on resolution R12325, approving a development agreement between City of Fitchburg and Bowman Plaza LLC, formerly Woronora Venture LLC. And I think our Economic Development Director will be given the intro.
Yes, thank you. This has been a long...
Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Audrey Lattice. Mike, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. This project has been a long time coming. The redevelopment of the former Bowman Plaza on the west side of Fish Hatchery Road. And we're working with our private sector partner, Ned Hoyt from Ragtag Ventures. Put together a complicated project here. We asked him to go big at this site. This is going to be a 5/2 with 5 floors of approximately 270 market rate apartments, 9,500 square feet of commercial space, and then 2 floors of structured parking to accommodate those units in that commercial space. He also worked with the neighboring property owners, both the church on the north side, City on a Hill, and then also the Kelly Williams Mobile on the south side. So with that, it's going to be a $70 million investment, and there was a need for TIF assistance. We landed at 5.65 with our standard pay-as-you-go developer bond model. And with that, we've got joining us via Zoom, our financial advisor, Keith Dahl from Ellers. And I'm going to have him give us kind of a quick overview of the structure in terms of the deal, and then answer any questions related to that. And then Ned's here as well if there's any questions on the project for us.
And Mike, I'm sorry, maybe Ellers will cover this, but just since we have some new alders, can you talk a little bit about PAYGO as a concept?
Sure, yeah.
Or maybe Ellers will talk about it.
Why don't we'll let Ellers go.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Thanks. Keith, are you out there?
Good evening.
Okay.
Yep, I'm here. Thanks for having me again. In front of you this evening is ultimately what's being proposed here is a PAYGO structure for a market rate development within the city of Fitchburg. And whenever we get a request for public assistance from a developer, we want to make sure that the city is not unduly enriching that project. So ultimately what we look at is the development financials. We call this a pro forma analysis, where we look at the development budget, the sources and uses, their financing assumptions. We take a look at their revenues, their expenditures as far as the operating pro forma goes, and we project out what their potential return on investment could be. And from there, that's how we're ultimately sizing the level of public assistance, working with the assessor to understand, once this project is constructed, what is the value of it going to be? And then realistically, how much tax increment might be generated? When we talk about a pay-as-you-go structure for TIF assistance, essentially the developer has to build it, and it'll be coming back to him on a reimbursement basis. So as he pays property taxes, he's going to get a reimbursement of his property taxes, essentially. It's called tax increment. It's generated from the value over and above what the base value of the property is, and that new value is what generates tax increment. So it's structured, the $5,650,000 TIF bond that Mike referenced is structured on a pay-as-you-go basis, where 75% of the annually available tax increment will be paid back to Ned in his development company over the first 8 years of that TIF bond. And over the remaining 7 years, he will receive 60% of the annually available tax increment. Now, due to repayment and what might happen with value appreciation, but also rate reduction on the mill rate, we added an additional buffer year. So 16 potential years that they can get reimbursed tax increment. even though our current estimates project that this TIF bond will be repaid within 15. With that, I can stand for any questions.
Anything else you want to add, Mike, before we go to questions?
No, I'm just excited to be bringing this project forward. This is a catalytic one to continue our kind of reinvestment in that North Fish Hatchery Road corridor. A lot of the projects have been on the east side. This will be a signature one on the west side.
Questions from the committee? Bill?
You said 9,500 square feet for retail space. How many retailers do we expect there? Is that like 1 or 6 or?
1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Come up to the mic.
Until you actually have a tenant applying for the space, it's hard to know, but when we've done the preliminary designs, we've allowed enough entrances that it could support up to 4, because a lot of our prior tenants have been kind of in the 2,000, 2,500 sort of range. But again, it could be 1 or as few as 1 or as many as 4.
Okay.
Other questions?
How do you determine the interest rate on the bond that you give? I mean, what's a like comparable market interest rate that you would give? Is that like for a construction loan or a professional business loan? Kind of where does that come from?
Keith, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So what we generally use for the interest rate on the TIF bond is, because we don't want the city to pay more interest than what's commercially available within the marketplace, is we usually tie it to the developer's permanent first mortgage interest rate estimate. And so what we say is the lesser of stated or actual, so 6% or whatever the actual rate of financing is.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but I believe this would be the biggest building or the tallest building in Fitchburg. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. What is where are we kind of maxing out right now? Like 5 floors is kind of the highest we've seen?
Yeah, I think one of the hotels is probably the highest for us at this point with 5.
And you can kind of consider, you talked about this a little bit, but you consider this an anchor project for the corridor?
Definitely.
Can you talk a little bit about what that means and as a concept?
Sure, yeah. The North Fish Hatchery corridor, that developed when we were still a town. And so we're looking at redeveloping those sites that have really more of that township and suburban kind of look and feel to it. And we're looking to really urbanize and densify this main north-south artery through the city of Fitchburg, just like you've seen in other areas in the city of Madison, like East Washington, Park Street and everything. And we're looking to not only urbanize but densify the corridor. And when I say urban kind of footprint, the buildings are up to the street with the parking underneath, or and structured parking are behind. And again, we're open to as much density as we can accommodate on the site, and that's why when we were working with Ned on this project, he could have looked at just doing the standard 4/1, and we were like, we'd really like to push the envelope on this one and kind of set the bar as far as that catalytic kind of redevelopment project. And he was willing to venture out there with us to come up with this project. That added some complexities to even working through the developer agreement language, with us. So we were all kind of patient, and Ellers was a good guide, and so were the attorneys to get us to a development agreement that works for him on the private sector side of the financing and the complexities because of the size of this project and the 2 phases of residential occupancy, and then also without knowing that we have a commercial tenant or multiple commercial tenants, you see a term in there called gray box status, which gets us to certification of the project, but before maybe we have a specific commercial tenant or multiple commercial tenants. So it was a learning experience for all of us as far as the complexity of this project, as far as finalizing the details and the terms of the developer agreement. But we got there, and hopefully this will be the first of future projects that'll look like this, that include that multi-story mixed-use space as well as significant density.
Thank you.
And I think this is the first development we'll have in the city with more than 100 dwelling units per acre. Is that right?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to defer to Deanna on that one, but you might be right.
Dave, I think you might have to, I don't know, can we have Dave ask a question or do we have to wait?
If you would ask anybody else in the public and you'd allow them to, then yes.
Yeah,
but
can we
otherwise,
wait
no.
till, can you wait till council, Dave? No, this should be on the agenda for sure. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, this is a big investment, but this is also a really exciting project, and we've made a huge investment in that corridor through the road. Plus, we have really regular bus service, and that is a corridor in our city that really can handle more density, and we really want those residents there to be able to utilize that public transit system. So I think it's a exciting thing. We want to see that density, and hopefully this is the start of more, and we appreciate your long-term investment in the city over the years. So I'm excited to see it move forward, and I think it, even though it's a big number, I think it's worth the investment. Mike?
Yeah, agreed. This is a really exciting project, especially for that area. So I'm glad to see it moving forward.
Bill?
And I would just mention, and Ned can maybe share this, I think he's going to work with the fire department and the police department still to do some training in the existing Bowman Plaza. So you may see some activity up there if the public is kind of wondering.
It's been requested by both the police and fire department if they can use the building for training prior to us knocking it down. So we're trying to coordinate to give them as much time as possible before we actually knock it down in the spring so that they can come in and do training within a full building, which would be useful to them.
That's outstanding. Seeing no other questions or comments, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of resolution R12325, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is I'll need a motion on resolution R13425, approval of Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association ticket program payment.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer.
I'm going to take this one, if that's okay.
Oh, please do. Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So these are tickets that the Recreation Department sells, and a portion of the ticket gets to stay with the city, but the bulk of the amount that we sell them for goes to the organization that provides the tickets. So this resolution is ultimately giving us permission to reimburse them for up to the maximum amount based on all of the tickets that we have. Most likely we will be reimbursing them less than that because we won't sell everything, but wanted to get permission for all of them. And then for those of people out in the public, this is a great opportunity to get discounted tickets for these events. I know my family has used it in the past. It's a great opportunity to save a little bit of money.
My one question is, I always thought this came earlier in the summer because I thought a lot of these tickets are summer tickets. And this reads like I feel like we've probably sold some of these tickets already.
We did, but we don't reimburse until at the end of the season. So we send them back all of the unsold tickets along with the check for the ones that we did sell.
And that will be sometime in the fall.
Yeah, September, October timeline.
Great.
Yep.
Do you know how many of these we usually sell, like in an average summer?
I don't. We can find out.
Great. Seeing no other questions, we can take it to a vote. All in favor of resolution R13425, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, I'll need a motion on resolution R13725, purchase of cloud backup storage on multi-year contract.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Lettuce. Who can take this one?
I'll take this one as well. So the total amount of the contract, because it's a multi-year contract, exceeds the thresholds to require council approval, but it's a software that we need in order to continue the cloud backup storage.
Questions? Bill?
I don't know if I expect anybody other than Nick Joseph to know the answer to this, but it looks like it's 175 terabytes for the duration of the 5-year contract. I'm just wondering what our current volume is, and over the next 5 years, do we think we're going to safely stay under that 175, or what happens if we go over?
So I can definitely find the answer to that. Is that a question you feel comfortable with me reporting back at the next meeting? We still proceed with the purchase?
Sure.
Or is that something that we want to delay the authority for?
No, I don't see a reason to delay it.
Okay.
I had the same question and also don't see a reason to delay. Yeah.
Okay.
All righty then. So we'll hear more about that in the near future. All in favor of resolution All in favor of resolution R13725, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next, I'll need a motion on Resolution R-15125, approving purchase of hub networking equipment.
I move approval.
Motion approved by Alder Jetzer.
I'll take this one too, at least the little bit that I can help with. So the pre-approval is included in the packet, but ultimately there's the new hub facility that is nearing completion, and there's a variety of networking equipment that needs to be included in there. So this is authorizing that purchase along with a multi-year license.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Bill?
Got another one probably for Nick. So it looks like we're getting like 3-year licensing agreements. Do we know what the expected lifetime of the actual equipment is? Should we expect 3 years from now to see a renewal for the same equipment, or is that gonna, need to be replaced at that time?
So same question. I'll find out for the next meeting. If you feel comfortable still approving, knowing that answer will come at the next time, or if you wanted to delay it, it's up to the committee.
No, I think I'm fine going forward.
All righty. We can take it to a vote. All in favor of Resolution R-15125, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to our last agenda item, I'll need a motion on Resolution R-15225, authorizing approval of the Buds Drive and Basswood Drive intersection reconstruction bid.
I move to approve.
Motion approved by Alder Lattice. Tim?
Thank you. The city entered into an agreement for subdivision improvements on Lot 2 of CSM 1031 and Lot 2 of CSM 11021 on April 26, 2016 with Sub-Zero Group. City of Fitchburg's tax increment district number 18 includes financial assistance for the public improvement costs for the Buds Drive and Basswood Drive intersection improvements. The Buds Drive and Basswood Drive intersection reconstruction project was advertised by legal notice in the Wisconsin State Journal on July 14, 2025 and July 21st, 2025, and posted on Quest. On August 11th, 2025, one sealed bid was publicly opened with the results listed on the attached bid tab. Hamburg Contractors low bid of $597,082.25 was found to be in compliance with the bid specifications. Sub-Zero Group Incorporated has complied with public bidding requirements for this project. Looking for council to approve the bid for the public improvements for the Bud Drive and Basswood Drive intersection reconstruction project.
Thanks, Tim. This occurs to me as a very expensive cul-de-sac, and it does concern me that there is only one bid that came out, and obviously it was notable that Sub-Zero did the actual bid on our behalf. Is there any way that why do we only get one bid?
Well,
do we know?
It's hard to answer. My guess and professional opinion is that most of the contractors are busy. We're getting later in season, and this was put out, in July. So depending on workload and resources of contractors, they would, go after a bid, or if they're busy through October, November when paving stops, they're, not going to submit on a project that needs to be complete in the next couple months. And the project is more than just creating a cul-de-sac. Included with this project is the resurfacing of Basswood Drive. So right now that the city's put off resurfacing of that roadway, knowing these improvements were coming along. In addition, Buds Drive is being resurfaced. And then also there's stormwater improvements. The city had a stormwater pipe that was connected to Sub-Zero stormwater pipes, which go underneath their buildings. So we're severing that connection and then connecting to the west on Basswood Drive to city facilities, and basically severing the connection the city has underneath Sub-Zero's building for stormwater. So that it was more than just a creating a roundabout.
That is very helpful to know. May I ask, though, Bud's Drive, my understanding based on my discussions in Plan Commission, is a private drive through Sub-Zero. Is that resurfacing included in this?
Yes, but Sub-Zero will be paying for that with their funds, and the city will be contributing resurfacing funds for the Basswood Drive resurfacing.
So that 597,000 price point include the Bud's Drive resurfacing? We won't be paying that, or is that our portion?
So the 597 includes the Bud's Drive, which is paid by Sub-Zero. Basswood Drive resurfacing is the 45,000, so that'd be paid by city resurfacing, and then I believe the remaining amount is what was covered by the TID 18.
So how much is? Wait, I'm confused. How much is being paid by the city then? So if the total bid is 597,000, which includes Bud's Drive.
Yeah, there was discussion of this in the Board of Public Works meeting, and Tim, you had said that the city was going to pay up to 450,000, and anything over that was Sub-Zero's responsibility?
No. So the TID amount in the project plan was, I believe, the 445,000, and then there's the base bid 2, which is the Basswood Drive resurfacing. That's $45,000, and that the city's resurfacing project will be covering that. And then Basswood Drive resurfacing, which is a private drive by Sub-Zero, they would be covering the $106,000 for that. So those three costs add up to the $597,000.
Okay, so it's the 597 less the 106,000 for Bud's Drive.
Correct.
Great. Bill?
Question. Yeah, I just noticed there's no contingency listed here, which seems unusual. Why is that?
I believe because any cost above and beyond this would be covered by Sub-Zero per the subdivision improvement agreement, so that the city wouldn't be paying for the additional costs. It would be covered by Sub-Zero on their end, since they would be the one executing the contract with the contractor.
Okay.
The only question that remains, though, is that the actual resolution says we're approving the bid of 597,000, but it is not clear in the resolution that Sub-Zero is covering the costs of Bud's Drive, or that the revenue is coming from different sources, that part of it's coming from the TID and part of it coming from the resurfacing budget. So is that encapsulated in some sort of agreement with Sub-Zero? Because it just feels like this is incomplete. Like what is to say? Where does it say that Sub-Zero is going to pay that 106,000? Like I don't see that laid out anywhere.
So that there will be a subdivision improvement amendment coming forward after this, and that's going to be covering the payment of those items, so that the city needs to execute that. We just needed to get this awarded so that we can still continue the process with the paperwork to get the contractor started, so that they can finish in time, because the deadline's December 31st of this year. Per the original subdivision improvement agreement that the city had previously executed.
Okay, so and Sub-Zero is a trusted partner, and we have a TIF agreement with them, and we're not going to have any. It would be preferable for me to have that laid out in the resolution, but we'll wait to see for the subdivision improvement agreement come forward. Other questions? All right, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor of resolution R15225, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks very much, Tim. Next is announcements. Our next finance meeting is going to be September 9, 2025, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by Alder Jetzer. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:13 p.m. Thank you.